President Trump on Tuesday sought to distance himself from former campaign staffers and claimed the crimes outlined in indictments unsealed a day earlier took place long before his run for the White House. But his argument that charges against former campaign chairman Paul Manafort relate to events from years ago is simply false, and should not provide the president much comfort, an expert told the Daily News. It involves financial crimes and ties to Russians, and Trump has his own long-standing ties to the Russians, said Alan Lichtman, a political historian who teaches at an American university. By charging Manafort with crimes dating from 2006 through 2016, special counsel Robert Mueller has revealed the depths of the federal investigation he took over in May. Evan Vuchop, tasked with investigating Russia's influence on the presidential election and possible collusion between the Kremlin and the Trump campaign, Mueller has been given free rein to investigate all leads. And not much appears to be off-limits. I think he's made pretty clear that such an investigation is not by any means out of bounds. I'm not saying Trump is guilty of anything, but he does have reason to worry given his history, Lichtman told the News. Kevin Lamarck, Reuters. Lichtman has correctly predicted the last 9 presidential elections and is the author of the case for impeachment, outlining the reasons Congress could remove Trump from office. Trump's ties to Russian oligarchs and business leaders are extensive and stretch back decades, from renting an unusually high number of apartments to working with mobbed-up Russian developers. While most of his interactions predate his run for office, the Trump Organization was actively working on real estate deals in Russia in late 2015 and early 2016 as Trump was campaigning. He reportedly signed a letter of intent on the deal, possibly violating Russian sanctions at the time. Trump's connections to convicted fraudster Felix Sater and the shady firm Bayrock Associates is a perfect example of the president's long history of cozying up to Kremlin-linked companies, Lichtman said. Through Bayrock, Trump sought real estate deals in Moscow and partnered on several failed projects in the U.S., including Fort Lauderdale Trump Tower and Trump Soho. Brendan Smielowski of Getty Images. The company had an office in Trump Tower. A 2008 racketeering lawsuit against Bayrock charged that the company was mob-owned and engaged in a pattern of continuous, related crimes, including mail, wire, and bank fraud, tax evasion, money laundering, conspiracy, bribery, extortion, and embezzlement. The revelation on Monday that Manafort and Gates are being charged with money laundering, failure to report foreign accounts, and funneling payments through foreign companies as part of their political work in Ukraine could send shivers through many in Trump's orbit. Jefferson Siegel, New York Daily News. The president said in July that Mueller would be crossing a red line should he start snooping around the Trump family finances. Trump tried his best to paint Manafort's alleged misdeeds as far removed from his campaign. The fake news is working overtime. As Paul Manafort's lawyer said, there was no collusion and events mentioned took place long before he came to the campaign, he tweeted Tuesday. Joe Corrigan. Getty Images. Conservative Fox News contributor Greg Jarrett argued in a column on Monday that Mueller is overstepping his bounds by going after Manafort and Gates for what he described as tax fraud. The media became even more dispirited when they read through the indictment, discovering that nearly all of Manafort's alleged wrongdoing substantially predates his brief stint as chairman of the Trump campaign, Jarrett wrote. In other words, there is no connection to either Trump or his campaign. But Lichtman argues that Trump has plenty to worry about, especially if Manafort, like George Papadopoulos, makes a deal with prosecutors. Papadopoulos has provided key evidence in the first criminal case connecting Trump's team to alleged intermediaries for Russia's government. The other thing that Trump has to be worried about is if Manafort follows Papadopoulos' route and becomes a cooperating witness, he said. Manafort probably has a pretty big story to tell.